When I set off for the steppes of Mongolia, I thought I knew the story I wanted to tell. A tale of majestic eagle hunters riding on the snowy peaks of the Altai Mountains. But what I found instead was far more profound. A story of breathtaking beauty and unyielding hardship, of dying lifestyles and of survival. The story of the last nomads to roam the earth. For millennia, humans have sought to tame the forces of nature, planting crops, herding livestock, and building shelter against the elements. Nomads, on the other hand, remain the only people who still today let nature dictate the rhythm of their days. And nowhere is this more true than under the endless blue skies of Mongolia, where the flame of nomadic life is still alive and strong. Here, in the heart of Central Asia, at 1,000 meters above sea level, the air is thin and the sky is uniquely blue. In this unforgiving land of arid plains and rugged peaks, people had no other choice but to make their living by hunting and herding. The stark contrast in weather forces Mongolian nomads to undertake seasonal migrations. In winter, they move to highlands to seek shelter from the wind chills, and as summer comes, they descend into the coolness of open lowlands on a constant move to escape the climate and to seek new pastures. The result is a landscape dotted by white gurs, the only signs that man inhabits these lands. Nomads love their freedom, the freewheeling life that these dwellers of vast expanses have led through the seasons, shaped them as a people unruly, proud, and uninhibited. Born in a world of constant change, they develop the ability to adapt to new conditions. Mongolia is the last great nomadic society in history, heir of 10,000 years of war between nomadic tribes and the urban world, of the ancient struggle of the hunter and the herder against the farmer. My first encounter with nomadic herders is at the camp of Davsuren, at the edge of the sand dunes of Elsen Tasarkhai. Here, together with his wife and son, Davsuren herds goats, sheep, and Bactrian camels. Survivors of one of the harshest environments on Earth, these camels can adapt to temperatures as low as -40 degrees in winter to 40 degrees in summer. During this time of the year, they grow a thick fur that will help them survive the winter. Davsuren, a wiry man with a face sculpted by the wind and burned by the sun, explains that the climate is becoming increasingly brutal. In the last winters, heavy snowfalls and chilling winds caused many of his animals to perish from the cold. I quickly learned that in Mongolia one doesn't ask a nomad how many animals they own. It is often a sensitive topic, as many don't make it through the harsh winter months. In these lands, preparation for winter is not just routine, it is the fine line between survival and loss. For our next stop, a calm sunset welcomes us to the camp of Tume and his son Patlam, perched on the mountains surrounding the Orkhon Valley, where they herd goats, sheep, and horses. A masterful herder, Patlam is also one of Mongolia's finest polo players, a skill that blends grace and grit, much like his life on the steppes. However, he confesses that he will need to take some time off from polo, as last year, the sport kept him away from his herd, and sadly, many of his horses didn't make it through the winter. Soon, he will head to the mountains for Otor, a tradition where the man of the family takes the herd to higher pastures, spending the harsh winter months in solitude with his animals. But nomadic life is by all means not purely a man's prerogative. Take Nara, for example, a strong woman with a broad smile who came alone from the Gobi with nothing but 5 black goats, started her life all over again, and now owns a flourishing herd, multiple gers, and lived with their 2 sons and 2 daughters. The stories of Davsuren, Tume, Patlam, and Nara are woven together by the deep bond they share with the land and their animals. No less dependent on their animals, eagle hunters have developed a different form of reliance, one based on the inextricable bond between eagle and hunter. To learn about this 1,000-year-old tradition, I had to buy an ulgi at the feet of the Altai Mountains, home of the Kazakh eagle hunters. The journey to the eagle hunters is as untamed as the land itself. At times a paved road, at times a rugged path, and often nothing but the open earth, stretching endlessly ahead. After hours of driving through rocky mountains, where the only souls we encounter are the rare herders on horseback or on old motorcycles, we finally reach Asker's winter home. Asker has been hunting with eagles in these lands for more than 20 years. His real pride, however, is his young daughter Aigerim. A teenager with a kind and shy smile, she was gifted her first eagle at age 12 and has since become one of the best eagle huntresses in the country, winning dozens of competitions and defying stereotypes in an ancient tradition typically reserved for men. Sadly, I soon learned that Aigerim's eagle was recently attacked and killed by her father's eagle in a tragic accident. Her voice quivering with emotion, she describes the intimate bond she shared with her eagle. When I ask whether she will hunt again, Aigerim pauses and replies that she will only do so if she finds, as she puts it, her eagle. I spent the next days with Asker, Serikjan, and Basha Khan on horseback, riding along sharp mountain ridges, wrapped in thick furs to shield us from the bitter winds. Carried by the raw power of Mongolian horses, we reach for the mountain peaks. Once on top, the hunter carefully scans the landscape below and releases the eagle towards his prey. In a heartbeat, the eagle soars in the sky, dives like a bolt, and in a blur of feathers, tears the prey apart with his sharp talons. Eagle hunters typically hunt foxes, marmots, and hares, and when in a group, even wolves. The spoils are equally divided. The eagle gets to feast on the meat, while the hunters get the fur. Interestingly, only female eagles are chosen for hunting, as they're bigger and stronger and believed to be braver and more loyal than males. Building loyalty and trust is essential, and the hunter spends the first 2 years patiently training the young eagle before they can start hunting together. After 7 or 8 years of partnership, the eagle is released back into the mountains to breed and live out her days in the wild. Among the rustling of feathers, clattering of hooves, and the raw empty expanses at our feet, naked of any signs of mankind, I feel as though I'm experiencing the world as it was at the dawn of humanity. A sense of freedom I fear I may never feel again. As we return to Ulaanbaatar, the land unfolds below. 1,000 kilometers of untouched wilderness, pristine and eternal, without a single sign that humanity ever existed in these lands. Not a road, a power line, or a house in sight. Nomads come and go with their herds, living off the land and their animals, leaving no trace of their passing. They are among the few on our planet who share no blame for the changes in climate. And yet, tragically, they are the most affected, as they are constantly at the mercy of the elements. Many nomads have already undertaken their last migration, the migration to the city, as the nature they once lived in harmony with becomes too brutal for their survival. Mongolia has always been a land of extremes and paradoxes, from its climate with freezing winters and scorching summers, to its geography with snowy mountains and vast deserts, all the way to its people, who've managed to domesticate one of the world's fiercest predators, yet let cattle dictate the cadence of their days. Mongolia doesn't hold your hand, but its people are always willing to lend you one. These conditions of constant change have fathered a stoic, adaptable, and kind-hearted people with a deep connection to their land. However, changes in climate, society, and technology are now testing the ever-adaptable Mongolian nomads. An increasingly extreme climate threatens their livelihoods. A growing gender imbalance complicates family structures, and social media broadcasts the allure of city life, a vicious cycle that draws more and more nomads to urban life. Still, a beacon of hope lies in the resurgence and newfound celebration of Mongolia's heritage and culture. A proud people with a rich history dating back to the Huns and Genghis Khan, Mongolians are rediscovering pride in their national identity and traditions after decades where their cultural patrimony was silenced. While some yield to the tempting call of modern city life, more and more young Mongolians rediscover with pride ancient traditions like eagle hunting. Back in Altai, upon my return from a hunt, I learned that Aigerim, now 19 years old and without her eagle, has left for the city to find work. She may or may not hunt again, but her legacy will live on in the new generation of young eagle huntresses that she has inspired, a testament to the enduring spirit of Mongolia's nomads in the face of an ever-changing world.